Hi, second graders. It's week 6 of distance learning, and today we're going to focus on another comprehension strategy. Readers think about the author's message, and we often ask ourselves, what does the author want us to learn? Writers of books often have purposes to why they write those books. Sometimes it's just to entertain us. Sometimes they want to teach us a little bit about themselves through the characters they write. And sometimes they want us to learn important lessons. Today we're going to go through and think through a lot of the stories that we've read throughout this distance learning time. But before that, I just want to remind you about our all-class meeting. This past Friday, I let everybody know that attended the meeting that we are going to switch this week's meeting from Friday to Thursday due to the Memorial Day weekend. So our all-class meeting will be at the same time, 12:30 to 1:30 on Thursday rather than Friday. Also, the special thing that we're going to be doing for our all-class meeting is a scavenger hunt, but I will post details on that in Class Dojo. So thinking back to our books that we've read through this distance learning period, a lot of these fiction books have themes that we can learn through the characters. I think back to Pinky and Rex and the Just Right Pet. If you remember, the character of Pinky, their family has to decide on the kind of pet that they want. And he has his own idea of what he wants. And his sister has an idea of what she wants, and they're very different. So as we see Pinky go through this story, learning to appreciate the kitten that they got rather than the dog that he wanted, we see that he changes his mind about how he feels about the kitten. I think for me, when I think about that experience for Pinky, I think the writer wanted us to understand that sometimes things don't always go the way you planned them. And if you give it some time, you may just appreciate the way the things turn out in the end, even though it's not what you wanted. In Thundercake and in Sydney Won't Swim, I feel like these had very similar ideas about what the writer wanted us to understand. If you remember from Thundercake, Trisha was very fearful of thunder and thunderstorms. And in Sydney Won't Swim, Sydney was fearful of going in the water with his class. Both of these main characters experience different strategies on how to conquer their fear. So my conclusion was that the writer wanted us to understand that even though you can be afraid of something, you can work to overcome that fear. And finally, in Daft Bat, if you remember, the bat had her own way of seeing things in the world. And her friends, the other animals, didn't quite see things the way she did. So as we see the characters change through the story of thinking that she was strange or her perspective was weird, when they finally step into her shoes and see the way things that she sees them, they don't think it's that way anymore. So to me, I think the lesson that the writer wanted us to know is that even though people see things differently, it doesn't mean they're wrong. And it's a good thing to try to see things from their perspective. So second graders, in your work this week, you can do some stop and jots and think through what the writer is trying to teach you through their stories. And then, since we're getting down to the last 2 weeks, the quote for this week is simple. It's just thumbs up. I've been very proud of the work that you've been doing in IXL Math. I'm seeing a lot of you keeping up on those lessons and doing that work. It's so important, friends, for next year that you get that practice so third grade doesn't feel so overwhelming in the beginning. Same thing when I log into Epic and Raz Kids, I've been able to see the kinds of books that you're enjoying and that you're reading. And so I just want to give you a thumbs up for the hard work that you're doing at home. I know it's not easy, but you're doing a great job. I will see you all very soon.